So the Xiao banner is about to be released. So and you're probably like seeing a lot of videos saying that maybe he's gonna have a little bit of trouble with energy recharge. That, for example, not a lot of weapons are the best option for him because of the plunge attack, and also that not a lot of artifacts are good for him because of the plunge attack, and all of these mechanics that Xiao just has built into him. So there's so many caveats when it comes down to Xiao that I really need to emphasize that you probably need to really consider what exactly do you want out of this character if you're planning to summon for him. So if you're free to play, you don't really have a lot of materials to be summoning for like every single character that's coming out, right? Like they don't give us nearly enough to even try. If they were giving us like a chance to have a 5-star every single month, that would be amazing. You could probably try to get all of them, but it's never going to happen. Like they don't even give us enough to have one every 2 or every 3 ones. Like you really need to gamble with your stuff. And I'm saying all of this because Xiao might really be something different that you're expecting. You probably already know that Xiao is going to be a character that really needs to be on the field all the time. Like this character is not going to be so like Diluc, for example. I can just swap with my Barbara between the combo and everything to apply wet status and just click and then E and do a whole lot of combo, like optimize my damage and everything. I can do that, but that's probably not really going to be the case with Xiao. So you really need to think about what exactly are you going to be doing with this character and whether or not you're like willing to just change your playstyle, I guess. But don't worry, it doesn't really mean that your support characters, for example, are not really going to have any kind of effect on Xiao. They will. For example, you can still heal with Barbara. We all know that the ultimate of Xiao is going to be costing him some HP. If you have Xinshu, for example, you probably know already that this character is like the best support, right? Not necessarily the best, but he's like good with absolutely everybody. Why? Because he does a lot of damage. He does more damage. He's always on, and it's just, he's a really good character, right? So for example, you can use Xinshu, use your skill, use your burst, and then switch to Xiao, use your skill, use your burst, and that's it. Like you're gonna still have a lot of time of the ultimate of Xinshu active while you're doing also your plunges with Xiao. So there's combinations to be had, right? There's combinations to be had. So not all of your support characters are going to be as effective, but still you're not really going to miss out all of them, right? So when it comes down to the whole energy recharge kind of debate, I guess, you don't really need to worry about that. You don't really need to worry about that. Why? Because Ganyu, because Xiangli, because all of the characters that have been appearing as of late have been receiving buffs before launch, have been receiving buffs after launch. If Xiao is, for example, a character that really cannot get any kind of like energy recharge because of this or because of that, they're probably going to make it so that he can get recharge out of the plunge attacks, for example. Or maybe the burst is going to end up being changed so that you don't really need that much energy. Something is simply going to change. Something is simply going to change so that you can actually enjoy your product, right? At the end of the day, these characters are products and everything. So MiHoYo really wants you to use them. And if you're not really that pleased with the character, like for example, Xiangli, he's going to get a lot of buffs until the point that it's probably broken. So it's going to be fine. You're never really going to be wasting your money or your Primo Gems, and the effort that you've made in order to get all these Primo Gems and all the resources in general is never going to be wasted. It's just a matter of whether or not you are going to want another character in the future if you're free to play, or if you really want to have the play style of Xiao that is going to be probably different from what you have been expecting. And that is actually a great thing. Why? Because changing your playstyle is one of the best things that this game can have. Like, if every single character in this game were played the exact same way, it probably would be boring. Like for example, Diluc, although it is very simple, it is something that changes, right? For example, I can do a click, I can do a skill, click, skill, and maybe I can do another click, and then the burst, right? For example, that is one style of play. For example, with Ningguang, I can use my E, I can use my skill, go through it, get a little bit more damage, and of course, collect the 3 jades, and then hold a charge attack, and that's a different way of playing, right? With Venti, for example, a lot of it is really simple. It really is E until you get your burst, and then use your burst and change, for example. It's not really that complicated, and Barbara is kind of a similar case because she's entirely support, unless you are using like Barbarian Barbara, right? So It's mostly and then changed to another character, but having new ways of playing the game is really great. And I think Xiao is going to be a great addition to the game, but you really need to be sure that you're not going to regret your investment, because he's an emo. And an emo, as you've seen, doesn't really get a lot of stats that other characters have. Like, for example, Double Pyro gets you more attack. They're going to be buffing, for example, Geo, and they're going to get more damage. It's going to be great. Maybe Anemo is going to get another buff for the Elemental Resonance, but maybe you should be trying to think about getting a Bennett, if you already have a Bennett, and then pair it with another Pyro character, along with your Xiao. Bennett can pretty much do healing, for example. I think that is a good combination, so that you don't really need to worry that much with your healing. And also, I guess you could use High Voltage, but it's going to be a little bit tricky. Why? Because although this seems like a good idea because of the energy recharge problems that Xiao could potentially have, we still don't know. You would need to use something like Lisa and Xingqiu in order for you to actually trigger Electrocharge, because, Xiao is an emo, right? And he's not really going to do the whole high voltage kind of effect, so you're not going to be getting any particles. And also, you're going to still need another Electro character, and maybe Fischl, I guess. But the general problem of Electro characters is that pretty much all the characters that we have right now are kind of DPS. I say kinda because, of course, Lisa and Fischl can pretty much be support to a certain extent. Although, well, a lot of people are going to say that Fischl is like amazing support. But the problem is Xiao. Xiao is the problem, because you're going to be jumping really high and doing your plunges, and maybe I don't really know how it's that exactly going to work with your character, right? There's some caveats to the whole thing with Xiao. So although high voltage sounds like a good idea to manage the whole particle problem and the energy problem, maybe the best options that you have is really just going for Double Pyro and maybe double Anemo, so that you can have like less stamina consumption, the extra speed, and less CD, although it's not really that much. So yeah, just a couple things to really consider before you try to summon for Xiao, because I think this character is going to be very different from all the other ones. Be prepared for your Xiao to take over your team and take over everything, because you're pretty much not really switching to anybody else, just to heal maybe. And maybe do the whole Xingqiu, because Xingqiu is amazing. So yeah, what do you think, guys? Will Xiao have problems with energy recharge? Is he going to get buffed? Well, I don't really know, but if he starts having problems, I'm pretty sure he's going to get some buffs. And prepare your Primogens, my friend, because this thing is right around the corner. So let's see what the patch 1.3 has in store for us. I'm Bruce with G. Subscribe, like. I'll see you on the next one.